our countdown at the beginning of a live stream. Oh!
What's up, everybody? Trinity here. Welcome back to the Trailer Park Live right here on the 2nd Street Marvel. We're coming at you live every single Friday night at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And in case you can't tell, no, it's not Friday, and it's definitely not 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But welcome to the Makeup Show, where today we are going to make up for missing the Trailer Park Live on Friday night. And believe me when I say I definitely have some very good reasons why I wasn't live on Friday night. And, you know, maybe we'll get into this a little bit later. Maybe we won't. Maybe I'll just give an explanation to the Myrtle Maniacs on a members-only live stream or in a members-only video. It's really hard to say. But thank you all so much for being here today. Now, what I typically do here on the Trailer Park Live is I start off the show talking about some of the comic books that I pulled and read for the week. And then we get in and talk about some of the things that have kind of happened throughout the week as I interact with the live chat. So if there's anything in particular that happened over this last week that you want to talk about, make sure you let me know down in the comments below. We do have plenty of things to talk about tonight. Now, in case you can't tell, we are getting ready to hit 200 or 2,000 subscribers here on the channel very, very soon. And as soon as we hit 2,000, we will be doing a giveaway here on the channel for Radio Apocalypse issue number 1. This is the Horizon Comics and Collectibles shop exclusive. This is their first ever shop variant done by artist Brian Lopez. You should definitely check them out. Check out Horizon Comics, and also definitely make sure that you check out Radio Apocalypse. Very good stuff. Make sure you're subscribed. Leave a like on this video. Leave a comment down in the comments section of this video if you're watching this on the replay. If not, if you're here live, make sure you leave one down there in the comments as well. Now, to get entered into that giveaway, you do have to be subscribed to the channel, and you have to leave a comment on my reviews for Radio Apocalypse issue number 1 or any of my comic book reviews that I have done since this book came out. I was so nice and made a playlist here on the channel where you can go and watch all of the comic book reviews that I've done since this book has came out, and leave watch those videos and leave some comments in those videos for more chances to enter. Also, if you like what you're seeing on this channel and in this stream, make sure not only do you smash the like button, but share it out with a friend. And If you would like to support the channel even further than that, make sure you consider becoming one of the Myrtle Maniacs. Our channel members are the great people you see in the chats with the little badges right next to their names. Now, one of the things that I do with the channel membership, the money from the channel memberships, is aside from putting that towards comic books to read here on the channel, I actually use a lot of that, a good portion of that, to go out and crowdfund different comic books out there through Kickstarter or Indiegogo, or even people who are starting their own publishing companies like the Rippleverse. Yes, but one of the things I also do is I do some giveaways for our channel members as well, where I am getting ready to give away this right here. This is Hell Witch versus Lady Death Wargasm #1. This is the Deathocalypse tie-in. This is the climax of Deathocalypse, in which we see Hell Witch go against Lady Death. This is chapter 4 of the Hell Witch stories in the Coffin Comics universe. The great people over there at Coffin Comics are some of the people that we have been backing plenty of their projects here on the channel, because they are very good. They send for one, they always hit their funding goals, but they put out some very good comic books, a bunch of different variant covers, some great art in the books and on the covers. And all at what I would say is a pretty good deal, considering the books that you get, the quality that they are, if it's something that you're into. Admittedly, not everybody is into Lady Death, but I will tell you, one of our lucky channel members will be winning this right here. This is the premiere edition of Hell Witch versus Lady Death. And you can see it. Yeah, see that right there? See it's how, yeah. You see, yeah. It's got the little foil there, yeah. Absolutely great stuff. And I believe this cover right here is done by Diego Bernard. Yeah, Diego Bernard right there in the little corner there. And signed by Brian Pulido. So we will be giving those away to some of our subscribers and one to our lucky channel members. So yeah, some pretty cool stuff. And you can become a channel member for as little as $3.99 a month. That's the price of a comic book. And to be quite honest with you, it's not really the price of a comic book anymore, because it seems the average price of comic books is going up on almost every single title out there. There's not a lot of books that you're going to find these days that are even at the $3.99 that became the norm, what, about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago now? Now everything's going up another $1. So, I don't know. Just some things to consider. But you can do that for as little as $3.99, become a channel member, or you can get the giant size for $4.99. We may have to raise the price on those. Giant size costs a little bit more nowadays, don't they? They're probably more like $6.99 or $7.99. We've also got the Myrtle variant for $10.99. Maybe we need to make that a ratio variant, and it'll have to be it'll be a 1 in 25. Yeah, at $9.99. So yeah, and each tier has their different perks on there. Make sure you go check those out. Now, one of the things that actually came out last week, picked up, I posted a picture on Instagram of this right here. This was on Image Comics. This is Ice Cream Man. This is the Sunday edition by W. Maxwell Prince, Martin Morazzo, Chris O'Halloran, good old Neon on letters. This is a hardcover edition of this book. This book is very rare. It is 1 in 1,000. I'm kidding. I don't think this thing was that. I don't think it was that rare. But I got this in right here. This hardcover edition. I haven't even. I actually just unpackaged this thing out of the wrapping here before the show. So I don't even want to open this book up because I haven't got to kind of wear the spine. You know, stretch the spine to get it ready for reading. In case you don't know what that means, it's where you got to take and you lay the book out flat on the table. Each cover, you know, each side of the cover, and it lays flat. And then page by page, you start turning it, and you lay it, it's laid flat. You hold this up, and you go through the whole book doing that. You don't have to do each page. You can skip pages, but you don't want to go too many. But it kind of gets the spine, all the little the glues and stuff that they have there, and like the spines to kind of stretch out a little bit to be prepared to read. I'm not sure what they call that, but yeah. I can't wait to get into this. I mean, I want to reread all of these anyway. This collects the first 12 issues, I believe, of the Ice Cream Man series. And I'll be honest with you that actually issue number 13 is when I started reading the Ice Cream Man books. Was on issue number 13. So, very interesting series, and especially when you get into reading the larger scope of all of these stories and everything combined together. Some very interesting things going on here because they all seem to be a bunch of stories. Each issue seems like it could be just a one-shot and you don't need to know anything else that's going on. There is nothing else really going on. Oh, but there is. There's a tale of Ricardus, and who's the other one after Ricardus? You know what I'm talking about, right? Very crazy book, and these first 12 issues are definitely some of the best stuff. I know at my local comic book shop, they actually told me that anybody who's ever put Ice Cream Man on their list has never taken it off. So there you go. Just a true testament to that. But I can't wait to get into this and reread all of these books, these stories in the Ice Cream Man. And I believe this hardcover edition retails for $44.99. $44.99 in the US. Probably more if you live in Canada. But yeah, if you've ever read The Ice Cream Man, let me know down in the comments below. I'm going to take a little drink of this water here. Okay, this week, some of the new books that came out. I know I've got other covers of this. We got on Vault Comics, Fox and the Hare, issue number 2. I started reading this series because Jospeh started. He's actually wrote one of the books that is one of the first Vault Comics and first indie books that I ever read that really got me into the indie comic book scene, which was a book called Sarah and the Royal Stars, which was absolutely great. Loved that. Loved that story. Loved that book. The art in the book was really good as well. And, you know, I think there was like one issue in there I was kind of like, okay. And then, you know, it went on and continued and everything, you know, it is what it was what it was. But this right here, coming to us from writer Jospeh, this cover right here is the Yoshi Yoshanti variant right there, which is the B cover. This guy has art by Stacey Lee, colored by Raul Angulo, and lettered by the hardworking Jim Campbell. You can see those names right there. And take a look at those. Now this one is, it's kind of in the future, and there's this company that has this high-tech stuff, and they've obviously got some hidden secrets, and a hacker went in and got like one of their trash files and backed it up, and now the company is out to get them. And well, it turns out there's some other people out there that are kind of like heroes. Like this story kind of I know what you were thinking. I know what you were thinking. Yeah, it seems a little bit derivative of some other stories out there, but if you really think about it, there's so many stories that are that. But, you know, and everybody kind of puts their little twist on there. I like what's going on in this story. Now, when it comes to the art, Stacey Lee, I can't say I've ever seen any Stacey Lee art before. The art's not terrible. It's not bad. But the thing is, it's like a lot of things when I talk about, well, like, you know, and again, it's kind of the style of the art being done here as well, but backgrounds. I need some more backgrounds. Even you flip here to the next page, you actually get a little bit of background. You get some background there, you know, but it also looks like, see the background and how it doesn't look, I don't know, it doesn't look alive, right? It doesn't look lived in. But altogether, the story itself so far has been pretty good, where we see this kind of, this hacker, this kind of runaway on the run from this company who does have agents who are out there trying to track her down because she did get this information, and it has a lot to do with other things going on with the city, and basically a lot of the people kind of, in a way, being enslaved into a city under a dictatorship, essentially, is what it seems like. Some very interesting things going on in this series altogether. This is issue number 2. I'm not sure how many issues this is going to be. If it's just going to be a 5-issue miniseries, or if it's going to be one of the ones like Vault Comics does a lot of them that are 8 issues, sometimes 10. I think there's the occasional 12 in there, but I don't know. Interested to see where this is going after 2 issues by writer John Sui. Again, a writer who, like I said, wrote one of the first books on Vault Comics, let alone one of the first indies that I ever read. But let me know down in the comments below if you have read Fox and the Hare and what you think about it. I've also got this other one right here, this new book on Ablaze Publishing called, is that L's, or I've heard everybody else saying Ellie's, but I'm like, it looks like just L, right? Isn't that L? L's? I don't know. L's? Ellie's. I figured if it was L-E, it would have an I-E, or, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, what this is kind of about, like, there's this new girl in school, and you can see she is kind of being looked at and given the being sized up by some of her new classmates there in school, and you kind of get a little bit of this kind of teenage kind of interaction with this new girl, and the new girl, her kind of things going on, being kind of that fish out of water in a new school kind of story. You can see some of the art here. I think the art, I'm not sure where to place this kind of art, what art style this is. It's not bad. I like the art is pretty good. It looks very much like something that would be like an animated show that you would see, you know, like one of those kind of, not a Pixar flick, but one of those like DreamWorks kind of somethings kind of movies. But just kind of seeing that, and then what we see here is there's kind of this not even a confrontation, but just kind of, you can see that Elle here isn't, she's more just like she's not into like sports and stuff like that. And you see here a little thing that happens in gym class finds her with another personality coming out after this altercation in gym class. So, I don't know. I thought this first issue was really good. Definitely something that you could let your kids read for younger audiences. You could check this one out. Definitely some good stuff. I mean, it seems very, I don't know, like I said, very kind of, like I said, that teenage kid coming of age in high school kind of story. It's not for everybody, but I thought the issue itself was pretty good. But let me know down in the comments below if you've read L's, what you think about it, as well as this one right here. This is the next one that came out right here. This is The Vineyard, issue number 1 on Aftershock Comics. This is written by Brian Hawkins. It's got art by Sammy Cavella, colors by Jason Murdy, and letters by Taylor Esposito. You can see those names right there. Brian Hawkins, who I would say for me is probably best known from a book that he done recently in, what was it, Black Cotton, that he did over, I believe that was on Scout Comics. So he's finally making his Aftershock Comics debut here with Sammy Cavella and Jason Morty, who actually did the art. They actually work a lot together on a lot of their books. They also did Undone by Blood on both volumes of that as well, on Aftershock Comics here. But what we see in this book is we see there is this family that has this this vineyard. I guess you would say grapes for, you know, making wine. And they are there making wine. They have obviously their grape plants and everything that they would have growing to make wine, and just, you get it, right? And so you see they're there. They have their farm, and they are serving their wine, and it's absolutely the best wine that you're going to find out there. But it turns out this wine comes with a cost. There's a curse to this here sacred land or sacred vineyard, and somebody's got to pay the piper. So there's definitely some very interesting stuff going on in this first issue of The Vineyard. I'm definitely interested to see where this story is going to go, as we see that the father, I guess here, maybe the founder. Is he the founder of this vineyard? He is kind of not in a position to be able to pay the toll to the vineyard, if you will, here. And so therefore, it falls to the next family member, which is his wife, who doesn't seem to have the courage to go along with what it takes to pay the piper. But the next in line, his son, absolutely does. And it's very great. We get into the end of this book and see as he is going out, getting ready to go out and do what it takes to protect the vineyard, protect this land, protect their this curse, if you will, to uphold it. Very interesting stuff here going on in the vineyard. Definitely worth taking a read. Like I said, I read this first issue. I'm like, I can't wait to see where issue number 2 of this goes. But definitely let me know down in the comments below if you've read the vineyard and what you think about it. But that's really about all I've got. You know, I've got some other books here that we need to talk about, but there's so much more that we need to get into tonight. And let me, or today. So yeah, I'm so used to doing this show at nighttime. Today, let me know down in the comments below. We'll get here into the live chat. Say what's up to everybody, and we'll go from there. We'll go from there. All right. Let's see. We've got Jedi Mike in the building, as well as Dixie, Normies to Nerds, Brian Mccann, some of our Myrtle Maniacs, as well as RC Scott. Yes. Eric the Guapo in the building. Thank you so much for being here, my brother. All right. Okay, so let's see what everybody is going to mow my lawn, but my mower won't start. I got nothing better to do. There you go. Well, thank you so much for being here. Yeah, you need the update reboot. What? Which one? Yeah. Yeah, it updated. It got done. Let's chat about your bikes one day. I need to put mine together still. All right. Let's see. RC Scott with a 25-month member chat says the Crow is just RoboCop for goths. You know, I gotta say, I can't disagree with you there. It very much is. His Eric Draven's drop it, dead or alive, you're coming with me, is his one-liner like that is, it can't rain all the time. I prefer RoboCop. Yeah. Why is Trinity muted? Oh man, that's funny. The Crow doesn't have a badass scene with the henchman driving some armored truck into a vat of toxic waste and spilling out the back. Yeah, it's true. That's true. Yes. But the Crow has bang bang fuck I'm dead scene. Bang bang fuck I'm dead. I can't bang bang. I can't remember like which scene you're talking about. 5 episodes into The Sandman on Netflix. Surprisingly good so far. Actually respects the source material. Okay. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I was gonna say I've heard some people have been enjoying it. Yeah. The Toxic Avenger. I'll buy that for $1. Yeah. Haven't watched Sandman yet. It didn't interest me from the previews. Yeah, and for me it's a show. And it's a show I'm probably not really interested in. Yeah. Feast of McChildren in Zimbabwe. Yeah, absolutely you can, Dixie. Absolutely can. Yeah. Yep. You certainly can. You're not lying. I see TNA covers are making a comeback. Life is good. Yes, absolutely. Dixie, can you build a school with that money? Donate it to Drunk People for the kids. There you go. Trinity into cooking books, huh? Ice cream? Is it a point? No, it's not. It's a horror. It's a horror comic, not a horror comic. Yeah. I'm trying to use your ice cream. Stop him. He's passing by. All of his flavors are guaranteed to satisfy. There you go. My ice cream brings... No, that's just wrong. Never mind. I'm not even going to go there. Yeah. We'll start, then immediately die. You know what? Just throw it away. Go get a new one. Or hire a gardener. Yeah, just hire a gardener. So, what we got going on this week, guys. You know, we had San Diego Comic-Con a couple of weeks ago, and there's still stuff coming out about that. You know, just different things with shows being rumored to come out and some things being leaked through people just flapping their gums. Like Patton Oswalt. Oswald? Patton Oswalt. Yeah. Coming out and saying that there's going to be an Eternals 2. Yes, he's going to be in it. Obviously, he was Pip the Troll with, what's his name? Harry Styles? Is that his name? It's something weird. Like, I was thinking Harry Balls, but no, that's too funny. I think it is Harry Styles. He probably has Harry Balls. Nah, he looks like the guy. He probably keeps them all shaved up. He probably does. I'm kidding. Anyway, he came out. He let it slip, saying that it was already announced when it wasn't. Is Feige secretly planning things out there, letting things slip? Let's be honest. Kevin Feige is behind all of the leaks that have come out over the last couple of years. Who's been wrong about anything? Pretty much all the leaks we've been getting have been right from the start. Not just as things evolve. Remember that Doctor Strange movie that came out a couple of months ago? Yeah. I think we knew that whole movie well over a year ago. There was leaks out about it. You know, it was Kevin Feige let them leaks out there. You know it was. Let's not pretend like it wasn't. It was. But Patton Oswalt lets that slip. What else was there? What else was going on in MCU? I know there's something I've got to make a video on. But I swear there was something else. There was actually, man, what was it? But we did obviously know. I guess it was announced, you know, like, or it was also said that Chloe Zhao. Patton Oswalt said Chloe Zhao is coming back for that too. And let's be honest here, you know, I hear a whole lot of people talking about this out there. People are like, oh, the Eternals sucks. Well, let me tell you something, son. Let me tell you something. And I know, like, look, I'm just being honest when it comes to some of these things here. I try to be as objective as possible, and I try to think of everything in the full scope of what it really is and what it really means when I say these things. And I do think this is true, that The Eternals is the best film in anything of Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I do mean that when I say I think this is the best film in Phase 4. Again, let me say once again, in case you didn't hear the exact words that came out of my mouth, and maybe you've got to go look up each and every single one. I'm not saying this like no, okay, look. The Eternals is the best film in Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Alright? Plain and simple. Now, if you understand what I'm saying there, go watch that movie and compare it to a lot of the other stuff that's out there that came out in Phase 4. Compare it to Black Widow. And Black Widow wasn't terrible, but from a film standpoint, I would say The Eternals buries a movie like Black Widow. Take a look at Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi, and I'll tell you, you know what? Shang-Chi is probably actually the second best film in Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Again, examine the words I'm saying. But I think it even outdoes that one. I mean, it is a little bit longer and seems to drag a little bit on a little bit more. But for what it is, I still think it is the better film of the two. And those two being the top two of Phase 4. What else does it have to go against? Spider-Man No Way Home, arguably not even a Marvel Cinematic Universe film. Yeah, there's some characters. There's a little bit of spillover. But does it spill over into the Marvel Cinematic Universe? I don't know. I guess we'll see. one of the things I've always argued about these Spider-Man films is that they are very loosely connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like I said, the spillage goes one way. It doesn't seem to go both. The MCU spills over into the Sony Marvel Spider-Man, whatever they call it. You know what I'm talking about. Not it spilling over into it. But of course, there is that Venom scene, right? It was the Venom thing that... Yeah. Anyway. So, but, you know, then again, there was also that Venom scene as well at the same time. It was... So, there's that. What else does it have to measure up against? Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, as much as I love Sam Raimi. This film is alright, but I think maybe they should... I kind of feel like maybe they should have left... Feige should have just left him to his own devices. Should have just left Sam to his own devices. It probably would have been better. Would have been a better movie. And he probably could have got... And just tell him the exact things that need to be in there. He probably could have made the movie much better. But again, I think Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, the replayability and rewatchability of that is just a little bit more. Just barely higher than that of Spider-Man No Way Home, which to me was not a very good film. I mean, it was alright. It's got some good stuff in it. But it's one of those things where you got to say Martin Scorsese was right. It was a thrill ride. That's really about all it was good for. You get off the ride. Do you need to go back on it? Nah, not really. Could you? Yeah. Would it be fun? Yeah, sure. Maybe. But there's probably a better ride out there you could go on. There's probably a better ride out there that you could go on. What else? Thor Love and Thunder. Oh, the movie that is a parody of any Marvel Cinematic Universe film. This movie is a parody of its own leading character. Thor Love and Thunder is what Spaceballs would be to Star Wars if it wasn't funny. Yeah. Thor Love and Thunder is Spaceballs, but not funny. So, when you take a look at these films and see what the Eternals has to stand up against, it's definitely the best film of Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, I would definitely let you put up a fight if you said that it was Shang-Chi. I might let you have some words, but if you're going to give me this whole Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is better than the Eternals, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Like, and I'm not saying that they're terrible movies. But looking at things from a film aspect, The Eternals is the better film. No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness are forgettable thrill rides. Yeah, and they were thrilling while you're on them. This is some cool, and that's not saying that they're terrible. There's definitely some very cool things they do in each of those movies, but they're very forgettable. As you know what, honestly, more forgettable than even Thor: Love and Thunder. I think Thor: Love and Thunder. Is it better than those two? I don't know. It's hard to say. Because I think Thor: Love and Thunder could be a good movie if you took Thor out of the movie. Just Thor himself. And just leave Jane Foster. Yeah, leave Natalie Portman and Tessa Thompson in there to do everything else that happened in the movie. The movie's actually a pretty good movie. It works out. But I don't know. That's just if you ask me. And certainly Black Widow, while not a terrible film, it's just not one of the better films in any of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Given whether it's Phase 4, 1, 2, or 3. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And maybe tell me why I'm wrong. Why The Eternals isn't the best film in Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And if you have a convincing enough argument, I'm going to tell you to go fuck yourself and that you're wrong. I'm going to block you from the chat so you can't rebut back to me here on my channel. I'm kidding, naturally. Okay. Let's see. See, my lawnmower will start, then immediately die. You know what? It's your fuel injection. It's your fuel injection. Yeah. Just Fernie is in the house, guys. If you don't know Just Fernie, you guys need to make sure you go check out Just Fernie's channel. Very good stuff. Been trying to catch more and more of his videos. Very good stuff, though. If you don't know Just Fernie, absolutely great stuff. He does a lot of editing for our friends over at the Den of Nerds. Very good stuff. And I'm telling you, I watched this video he shared out that he did, what was it, a month ago? A couple months, maybe a month and a half ago, of the Joker and Joker 2 and why it should be a musical. And why it works. And let me tell you, the intro to that video, it was actually pretty creepy and scary. And just Fernie actually had me pretty convinced that this son of a bitch might be scarier than Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker if they gave it to him. No, your screen's not frozen. Spark, compression, air. Yeah. There you go. Carburetor. That's what I said. Carburetor. I didn't say fuel injector. I didn't say fuel injection. I said carburetor. Eternals was awesome in my opinion. Top 3 in Phase 4 for me. Yeah, like I said, for me, I think it's the best one. I think like from a film set, like I said, film, from filmmakers, from being, like actually liking a film where, I hate to be all boomer status and shit like Martin Scorsese, but I'm telling you, he was right, man. He was right. Brian Mccann, Eternals are not robots. They are subrace of humans. They have children, etc. The 2016 reboot are awful and retcons. 40 plus years of comics should be ignored and forgotten. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't know enough about them. I haven't read any of the, I haven't read the roots of them or anything. But I know there's an omnibus out there. Maybe I need to see if I can find that omnibus and go buy it and read it and check it out. But I thought the movie itself is, like I said, I think it's the best of Phase 4. Multiverse of Madness was my favorite in Phase 4. This is Jared Dyer. Yeah, I could see that. Like I said, I mean, it's got some Sam Raimi greatness. I mean, again, I think they should have just left Sam Raimi to his own devices on that one. Thank you so much for being here, Jared. Yes. Brian Mccann says, Feige mentioned a Ghost Rider 3 film coming this week. He says new actor as Ghost Rider. Okay, interesting. Interesting. I really did like what was his name? He was in the most recent Terminator film. Gabriel Luna? No. Is it Gabriel Luna? Yeah, Gabriel Luna. What he brought to the Robbie Reyes character of Ghost Rider from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I really thought that was great, and I was kind of like, I would really welcome that back too. Nicholas, you gonna bring Nicolas Cage back? Because like let's be honest, you could do the whole thing with Nicolas Cage, bring him in and have him be Johnny Blaze, and he could do that whole thing. He could reprise his role, and you could certainly have basically the whole thing. Do the thing where it transfers and maybe they just kind of have him on screen to explain kind of how that all works or whatever, whatnot. I think it could all work. You could get all of them. You could have your cake and eat it too in this case. Because if I'm not mistaken, the Ghost Rider is kind of one of those characters, right? The Ghost Rider, the Ghost of Vengeance rides through other riders, right? I think it could work. But you could even do the same thing and bring back both of those actors in for a show to introduce the new Ghost Rider. Right? Which obviously in that case, from the ones they've done, the one we would get is it's not Johnny Blaze. It's why am I forgetting his name all of a sudden? I can't remember, because he was the Ghost Rider that I was reading, that came out a few years ago. I read those. Oh shit! Why all of a sudden am I forgetting his name? They could introduce him, right? It's totally simple, and you kind of pay homage to all the other people without even doing multiverse. I know that's one of they want to do everything multiverse, but you could do it without that. That's kind of the genius of it, right? Now I'm sure there's some arguments out there. I'm sure Brian Mccann will tell me how I'm wrong down in the comments below. Dixie is going to tell me how I should probably read some real books, not funny books. But yeah, interesting. Yes. Certain blunder. Phase 4 films and TV shows have been average films. 4 to 6 stars out of 10 stars. Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, like I said, I mean, I think The Eternals is really good. I really do like it. And honestly, Shang-Chi, even for the changes they made, let's, I mean, come on, like, fuck, we know they're not ever gonna do the comic book fucking thing. Like, kiss your comic books goodbye. Taika Waititi's gonna shit all over your. He's gonna shit all over your fandom, right? But anyway, but the point being is, for what it is, I think Shang-Chi was actually really good. Plus, also, when you get into the cinematics of that film, man, I'm telling you, Bill Pope, who is the fucking man who helped bring you one of the best comic book movies ever in Spider-Man 2. Bill Pope, who's worked closely with Sam Raimi several times before. Imagine if he would have got to come in and do Multiverse of Mayhem with Sam Raimi. Wouldn't that have been great? Fuck, that would have been sweet, man. Sam Raimi, Bill Pope back together. All they'd have to do is get Danny Elfman to come back for the music. Shit. Anyway. Black Widow was needed before Widow died. Definitely. Look, we all clowns if we're pushed far enough. Yes. Eternals is one of the first Marvel films with choices and consequences based off each character. No, yeah, I see that. Yeah. Secret Wars can have like 3 Ghost Riders. Yeah, it could easily. Because like Nicolas Cage isn't so old that he couldn't come in. They couldn't put a little bit of makeup on him. You know, maybe some of that Marvel. They wouldn't even have to do a whole lot of that, and he could still play the same like role. You could get, like I said, you could get Gabriel Luna back in there, reprise his role. Yeah. Danny, there you go, Danny Ketch. Yeah. Okay. Vengeance, a.k.a. Michael Battagliano. Vengeance, huh? Okay. But yeah, and never got past season 2 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Damn. Yeah, Ghost Rider Robert Reyes was great in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah, I really liked him. I thought he was great. Even for the kind of somewhat cheesy graphics, yeah, I thought it was great. Blaze Ghost Rider Catch, yeah. Luna Ghost Rider Battagliano. I don't know who that one is. Battagliano? I don't think I know who that one is. I don't think I know who that one is. Yeah. Interesting. But yeah, just Fernie, that speaking of which, like, that's one of the things, and I've kind of talked about, you know, speaking of Secret Wars and how much of blank space that we've seen on that little title card for Phase 6. I thought was very interesting. You know, you see Kang Dynasty and then, King Dynasty, and then you see Avengers Secret Wars after that. I think something very interesting. One of the things we've kind of talked about here as the Disney Plus series we're getting ready to launch was that it's a real game changer in what it does. And I think they've utilized it for maybe about as much as they really can, if you ask me. I think a lot of the shows have been I would say they've been lackluster, while not terrible, not great at the same time. But I think one of the things is it's kind of like they're telling smaller stories, maybe stories that don't need to be told on the big screen, in a television style format with the episodic releases and 6 episodes. Because I will say, it seems like a lot of these shows over the course of 6 episodes, there's a whole lot of stuff in there that you don't really need. You could learn, you really only need maybe 2 of these episodes, everything that happens within the confines of these 6 episode series. It's like 2, maybe 3 episodes that tells you all the relevant stuff, and then everything else kind of in between. And I think that's perfectly fine, depending on how they utilize all this going into the films. I do think a lot of these stories so far have been somewhat small for the larger screen itself. And that's kind of the game changer in utilizing that. I will say I think maybe the shows have been affected in the way people receive them or perceive them, in the sense that everybody is expecting the same thing out of these shows that they would out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is kind of a expectation that is set by the Marvel Cinematic Universe themselves and Kevin Feige, and saying that these were tie-ins to the Cinematic Universe. And that being the case, we expect that same level of quality when it comes to these shows, the same cinematic quality when it comes to these shows. But they really aren't that, and I really do think that that's okay. But I do think that a lot of us, myself included, have kind of looked into a lot of these shows maybe a little bit more than they need to be. But I do still think they're serving the purpose that they need to be doing as well. Where WandaVision, I think, was a great series, kind of finishing up some of the stuff going on after Endgame and moving forward into Phase 4 and Phase 5, as we see Wanda even moving into Multiverse of Madness, some of those kinds of things. Falcon and Winter Soldier, that obviously gave us John Walker, which is something I wish we could have seen on the big screen, to be quite honest with you. And the giving of the mantle, or the handling of the mantle of Captain America to Sam Wilson. One of the stories that got me back into comic books. A whole lot of this stuff. It was actually the Hydra Cap story that got me back into comic books. But the Sam Wilson thing was kind of something I read at the same time when I was getting back into reading. And I really did enjoy a lot of these stories when it's all said and done. But largely it was just kind of a recap of some of the things going on to introduce us to a couple of characters and leading us to Captain America New World Order. Then we move on to Loki, which was just really a series to introduce Kang and the multiverse. Some of the different things out there. And I think some of the things that the show taught us, a lot of people have already forgotten. I see a lot of people out there talking about, just because you have some multiversal character out there, a different version of a character from the multiverse, that it's a variant. But no, that's not what a variant is. A variant is somebody who strays from the timeline of what they are supposed to do. It's not just a different multiversal character. A variant is something very specific of a multiversal character. A character from any version of the multiverse could become a variant if they stray from what they're supposed to be doing, and doing something that the TVA sees could lead to a branch timeline and cause all kinds of chaos. Which obviously we see something has already happened in the first place, right? But altogether, I mean, I don't think, it served its purpose. I mean, I think it set up some cool things. But altogether, I think the series was very forgettable, just like the Falcon and Winter Soldier was, for the most part. And then, you move into What If as a cartoon series that it did some cool things. You can do some fun stuff, but it was overall very much just kind of, But that's just if you ask me. We could move forward into Hawkeye, which I thought was a good series. I thought Hawkeye really started to show that Marvel Studios had probably started listening to some of the critics and maybe even some of the cynics out there regarding bringing in and introducing characters into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and maybe the method in which it's done, because I really felt like they gave us a pretty good introduction to Kate Bishop, as well as even the character of Echo and who they are and kind of what they're about, a little bit of their background, introducing us to them, to where they're not just your average Mary Sue, whether you're following this female character that can kick all kinds of ass and you don't know why, right? I think they did enough in the show. I mean, I think they did some very cool things within the confines of the show. But the show itself, I thought, was actually pretty well done, well written. I thought it was pretty well paced for everything that was going on within the series from start to finish. I think it really started to show the signs that they were getting into a stride of making these shows for the Disney Plus platform through the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I thought was absolutely great. But then, you move on into Moon Knight. Moon Knight's one of those ones I'm very divided on. I mean, I thought if you go back and watch Moon Knight, it's very cinematic. It looks like something I would expect to see on the big screen. The show did some pretty cool things, but eventually, like, to the end of it, it was just kind of introducing us to Mark, his multiple personalities, a new character that we have no clue who it really is. And that was really about it. I mean, it kind of left some mystery there, I guess. But largely, I mean, it felt lackluster. But like, it didn't felt like it stuck the landing. But otherwise than that, it was pretty well put together. It did seem very cinematic. Had some great acting and portrayals in the show itself. I mean, of course, I have a bunch of nitpicks about the character of Moon Knight in the show as well, but it is what it is altogether. I mean, the show was definitely looking more to living up to that standard of the Marvel Cinematic Universe by the time we move in to what I think is probably the greatest Phase 4 project. Probably not even out of just the films themselves, but definitely, certainly the shows. I wouldn't say it's my favorite. WandaVision is still my favorite, but I do think that Ms. Marvel was actually the best show, the best thing that they have done in Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I know there's plenty of people out there like, what? What are you talking about? It's a show made for teenage girls. And yeah, absolutely right. It sure was. But everything in the show was absolutely great. I mean, I think the way that the show was done, a lot of the stuff in the show was done very well. There's obviously some things they did that they didn't necessarily need to do, but I think all of these shows have done that in this case, where you got a lot of things that are done and shown in there for fluff that you probably don't really need to do, yet they did anyway. And if you want to know some of that, you should probably go check out some of the reviews, some of the chats that I had with Chillmonger here on the channel. Where we broke down and we talked about each of those episodes. I never got to release episode 6, the season finale, because my recording of that was actually messed up, and I was trying to edit it together, but I was missing so much of Chillmonger's footage on there that was actually all my fault. I didn't get to do that. But altogether, it was fun. It was entertaining. It has rewatchability. And I think all of the character portrayals, for the lack of holding the true to the source material in the sense of her being an inhuman, I think everything else they did in this show was absolutely great. The family dynamic, the characters introduced, Bruno, Kamran, the family, Ms. Marvel's family, Kamala Khan's family, as well as Iman Vellani, Ms. Marvel herself. She embodies this character so well. She seems like a great ambassador for what could be this character. She's so likable, and I thought she showed so much promise in her acting chops in the show. But not only that, again, I think the show was really well done. It has rewatchability. It's fun. It's entertaining. When I watch the show, it puts a smile on my face. I want to watch the show again. I want to see Iman Vellani playing this character that to me seems very cool, something I want to watch. Now, I will say, however, one of the things, and it certainly wasn't an expectation that I had out of the show, is that you will watch a show like this and probably even some of these other characters that they're going to be introducing us to, aside from Kate Bishop, who are not going to be out there putting up vicious fights against villains, because a lot of these characters do not like or think that you need to be killing villains. Justice can be found through other means. The justice system, you got to trust in it. But that's ultimately what they were about. You get into some of these younger, these wouldn't be the new Avengers. What would these be? The champions. Have more of that tree-hugging hippie style where they don't believe in killing villains. No casualties. They can all be saved, which is just fine. So I didn't have that expectation out of the show anyway. I didn't expect that there was going to be any kind of killing of villains within this show, just giving the character herself that I know from the comics, as well as some of these the newer characters anyway, and some of their values of being superheroes as compared to some of the older characters. And you can feel how you want about that. I get it. but I do think that Ms. Marvel was the best thing to come out of any of the MCU Disney Plus shows, and for that exact reason. I think it was just really well done. Characters introduced, it was fun, it was silly. It matched exactly what they were shooting for. The target audience? Sure. Beyond that? Absolutely. Was it going to reach everybody? No. But that doesn't make it not the best one. But that's just if you ask me. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. We'll get into some of those. Betalina's vengeance was purple with tusks. Okay. All right. Making smaller stories. Don't tell that to DC. Right. Yeah. Smaller stories in the films are needed. Yeah. We don't need the epic world-threatening stories in solo named films. Big game changers should be for Avengers or team up named films. Yeah. Absolutely. But I will tell you one thing that came out a while back, and I mean, it's obviously going to be the case anyway, as we can see just moving in through Phase 4, is that even if it's a solo characters film, it's going to basically be an ensemble cast with multiple characters in there, which I honestly think has kind of been the case from the start as well, with the exception of maybe Iron Man. But even in Iron Man 2, you had Don Cheadle coming in as War Machine, and then beyond that, you also got Black Widow introduced there. You move into Captain America, well, even into Thor, you had Thor there. You got introduced to Hawkeye, obviously. You got Nick Fury, and Loki, and who these, and you could even argue Jane Foster, because she went on to be one of the bigger characters too in one of the films. But then you even go into Captain America, the same thing. You get just kind of like each one of the films always kind of had other characters in there, but apparently now they're all going to be bigger, more marquee characters out there like that. But that's not to say that you can't do smaller stories still. I mean, you can take a look at exactly like if the any of the different teams out there that they could do, like Marvel Knights. If they did that, these aren't characters who are going to go off on some cosmic quest. But yeah, they don't all have to be epic world. Justin Simone in the building. I got most of the early issues of Spirits of Vengeance run. Catch and Blaze versus Vengeance is how it started, I believe. Gotta go back and reread. Okay, yeah, nice. Yeah. The Who and Who TV show? Yep, forgettable. What? Supernatural Marvel has such a rich mythos. It really does. It really does. I prefer to see Catch and Blaze before Robbie Reyes. Yeah, I don't know enough about all the characters from the comics to be quite honest with you. But again, I did like the Robbie Reyes that they had in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I thought it was really cool. Huh. Myrtle, you son of a bitch, says Hair Spider 23. Thank you so much for being here. You as well, Justin Simone. Thank you so much for being here. I had all the Ghost Rider 90s series, lost them in the move in 2019 to the new house. Missing from my comic boxes. Damn. We saw Blaze and Catch in Ghost Rider 2 film. Oh, was Catch in there? I guess I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen Ghost Rider 2. It's pretty coherent until Layla showed up. Yeah. I was like, I remember. Yeah, Ghost Rider 2 interpretation of Catch doesn't really count. Yeah, the Danny Catch I read was okay. Yeah. Catch's Ghost Rider yet though. Right. I gave Blaze Catch's iconic appearance in 2007. Okay, yeah. Got a good amount of Ghost Rider Spirits of Vengeance, Morbius, Blade, Midnight Suns. Also Death's Head 2. Okay. Alright. Yeah. I think that's why we're getting the Thunderbolts. No villain will be safe. Yeah, like the Thunderbolts is one that, man, I'm definitely split on because I know what they're doing. The Thunderbolts is going to be not the original version of the Thunderbolts from the comics, which to me is a huge mistake. A huge mistake. And I know they're going they're going the whole anti-hero route because this wouldn't be a movie otherwise. The Thunderbolts would be a movie. Like, I honestly don't know how they would do a Thunderbolts movie, to be quite honest with you. Because it's rough. Because you'd basically be making a movie that, like, how would you say, man? Like, I think the thing to doing like, if you were gonna do like the OG Thunderbolts and do it right, and do it well, and do it the way it needs to be done, is you're going to have to introduce Citizen V and all of the other characters as new heroes, maybe coming out of the events of whatever's getting ready to happen before that comes out. But certainly right after Endgame would have been perfect. But you have this whole host of new heroes that just comes out. Masked heroes that are out there fighting the good fight, doing all the good things that you sit there and you cheer for throughout the whole film. Throughout the whole film. You see them doing great things. They go up against some great enemies. They win your love. They win your respect. And at the very end, that's when they flip the switch. And that's when you find out that you as the audience member have been cheering for Baron Zemo and the rest of the Masters of Evil, aka the Thunderbolts. I think it'd be great. Because as the audience, you know, sitting there after you've cheered for these guys throughout the whole film, finding out later that they're the bad guys. Now the thing is, the trick would be is you'd have to just see the heroes and never see their personal personas. So the movie in itself would be unique in that way because it'd have to be paced to the point where you never seen the real identity of some of the characters that you already know, like Zemo. You'd never be able to see Citizen V's face until the end. I think that would be absolutely great. Imagine sitting in that audience, knowing that you were cheering for these good guys for the past 135 minutes, only to get to the last few minutes of the film to realize that you were actually cheering on Baron Zemo and some villains. Damn, that would be great. Damn, that'd be great, right? But I don't think they're going to do that. They're definitely going the anti-hero route. They're doing the Suicide Squad. Yeah. But yeah. Brian Mccann says, at least we've got Moon Knight, not classic Moon Knight, though. It's the newer version plus enchanted suit, which Trinity loves and wants to cosplay in. You son of a bitch. No, we need a classic Moon Knight. Too wrapped up in the Black Flag Ultimate Fallout 4 controversy to care about the MCU plus. Yeah, man. I heard about that. I think it was Nick and Dustin were talking about that. The whole C2E2 Ultimate Fallout 4. And is it Ultimate Fallout? Is that what it was? Right? Like the cover thing? Yeah, that's funny, Air Spider. But yeah, I heard Two Brothers Comics talking about that. I'm like, what? That was the exclusive cover, right? Wasn't it? Yeah. That's funny. Iron Man 2, great portrayal of Black Widow. Absolutely. Yeah, I would have preferred old school Moon Knight. Yeah. Purists like me love seeing original depictions. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And here's the thing. Yeah, and you know the perfect thing about Moon Knight is, the original Moon Knight, was the original Moon Knight had all that cheesiness and campiness that fits right in there with the Marvel Cinematic Universe and what they do. It fits right in there. It's right, like, it's a home run. And yet they try to make a psychological thriller out of it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. Phase 4 is important. Yes, Jedi Mike, it is. Star Wars MCU-OG. How are you doing? Another one of the Myrtle Maniacs. Yes. Iron Man 2, great portrayal of... Oh, yeah. I must have skipped that somehow. Preferred old school Moon Knight. Yeah, I am. I'm skipping around here somehow. I guess that's why Moon Knight didn't hit for me. I have the old school Moon Knight in mind. Seemed like a different character than I've known most of my life. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But I think Oscar Isaac did great for a portrayal of, like, that whole Lemire version, the Jeff Lemire version. I think it was great. It was, like, spot on. It was spot on for that. Right, OG, they could have started with OG Moon Knight, having used the alias, etc., and then years later played on the multiple personalities if they wanted, or just leave it alone. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thunderbolts film is doing the Dark Avenger story. Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I've heard Josh saying, too. Josh was talking about that over at the Den of Nerds. Yeah. Abomination. Blonde Widow. Yellow Jacket. Etc. Villain versions of the heroes. Yeah. They couldn't pull it off. Instead, they have to hold the audience's hand and explain what's going on. Yeah. The original Thunderbolt version of comics would be epic. Yeah. Ultimate Fall. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, man. That's some scammy shit, bro. They all have their reasons why they're evil. Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah, right. A few of our community members have already flipped some. Ooh. Well, look. I think it's, like I said, I think some of that comes down to, kind of like they were saying, like, is it somebody who just went and bought a few extra copies and they're going to do that? Or is it one of those assholes who goes out there and says, like, hey, I want 150 copies? But yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah. I hear you. Airspire 20, that's funny, man. I don't know who it is or anything, but that's funny. Can't find the right sized socket when I need it. Yeah. Yep. Been looking for my old Thunderbolts issues. Collected them for a minute after the Onslaught saga was over. Oh yeah, so that was when it started. Yeah. Right. Yep. And the Avengers were missing. Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Zemo Dance. Yeah. I know some of the people who have them totally trashed. They were allowed to skip the line. Okay. Marvel also didn't know about it. Interesting. Well, that's a lot of stuff that goes on at those cons anyway, man. People with their fan art and shit out there that they're selling that, you know, they didn't pay for the rights to be doing all that and they're still making money off of it. And, like, I don't know, man. That content to members of my OnlyFans. Yeah. Hell yeah, Earth Spider. What else do you DM to members of your OnlyFans? Could you tell the fake laugh? Yeah. Zemo Dance and Dark Peter dance mashup. Yeah, we need that. I need it. Has somebody done that yet? Has somebody done that yet? You know what? We got some other stuff I want to talk about before we get into some more stuff I want to talk about. Before we get into the David Victor Zaslav, David Victor Zaslav. That's what we're calling him. My comic book hero right now would be Lawnmower Man. Yes. Hell yeah. And honestly, Dixie, the Lawnmower Man is Eric July's nemesis. Yeah. Well, they did use a cover officially with Marvel. Cover officially with Marvel and later. And later have added an acetate cover. And added the flag, etc. that needs to be approved first by Marvel. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. So let's get into some of the stuff I want to talk about. I'm not sure if anybody remembers. Here, I need to move a couple things over here. Okay. So I'm not sure if anybody remembers or anybody really cares. That a couple of months, it might have been last year. If anybody remembers, last year, Frank Gogol, writer Frank Gogol, was kind of thrown under the bus by this writer, this other writer, for some things that he said that seemed to not be very tasteful back at a BarCon in 2017. He essentially got canceled. This writer here, Mal, your pal, she had put this confession up on Twitter last year about Frank Gogol and this experience she had, where she was saying that he was racist and discriminatory against her and black women everywhere, and she felt offended and la 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 la, and kind of went on this whole thing, and a lot of people were upset, and naturally, when it all came out, I didn't think that she was wrong. I didn't think that there was any doubt in my mind that Frank Gogol had probably gotten drunk and maybe a little belligerent. Not a doubt in my mind whatsoever. But when this came out, she kind of put out this story. She put out this whole string of tweets, kind of outing him as a racist for some of these jokes that he was telling us, well as calling him an adulterer, saying that he's cheating on his wife, and all kinds of other things. And these were things that she didn't actually know that he did. Just a bunch of accusatory, inflammatory things that you would say about somebody that you feel has probably slighted you, and probably did in some sort of way. You know, one of the things I say about a lot of these things is, you know, like when I was reading this particular tweet that she had done a while back, last year when this happened, I think it was last year, and we talked about this on the show before, was that she said that he made some jokes, kind of disparaging, or he made some racist jokes and remarks, but she didn't say exactly what he said. And to me, I think that's something very important. If you're going to say that somebody made some racist remarks, I need to know exactly what they said so I can judge for myself. Because I'm not saying that somebody can't say something derogatory or even demeaning or maybe even belligerent and it sound racist, and maybe it's not racist at all. Maybe it's the way that you are perceiving something, and I think that's certainly something that we've seen a lot throughout the world lately. A lot of people maybe, you know, trying to read between the lines, or it is the whole thing out there that perception is reality, and how I perceive this is how I think that you meant it, even if that's not how you meant it. Either way, she went out there accusing this man of a lot of stuff. Canceled him, essentially. I don't know. Was he really canceled? You can really only cancel yourself. But I noticed this tweet she just did here on the 28th of July here. She says, and this is in quotes. This is in quotes. I'm not sure why this is in quotes. Very, very, very interesting why this is in quotes here. But it says, as a queer black person, I've had many negative experiences at BarCons. But my recollection of my experience with Frank Gogol at New York Comic Con 2017 differs from that of Frank and other people of diversity who were present. At this time, I want to move forward. I wish everyone healing. Now, that's all fine and dandy, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think there's nothing wrong with that, with her wanting to kind of move on. But given exactly what I seen there in that quote, I really do feel, and I could be wrong, and I'm certainly not saying she has to, but I kind of feel like maybe, just maybe, there should be like an apology in order. Because you go out there and you say these accusatory and inflammatory things about somebody because you felt a way, and maybe you weren't wrong. Maybe she wasn't. Maybe everything she said was absolutely right. But as you can see in her post there, for one, she didn't apologize. She just wants to move forward, which is fine. I don't think she owes Frank an apology, but I think one would probably be in order and wouldn't be uncalled for and would probably be appropriate in this situation. But she in here says that her recollection of things are obviously different from that of basically everybody else who was there at the con that weekend. Therefore, saying that they didn't really feel like he was saying anything terrible or bad or racist. Even other people of color. She just wants to move forward. I mean, you know, like I said, I don't think she owes. Does she owe him an apology? Maybe so. I think it would probably be in order. Would I say that she has to do it? No, absolutely not. But this certainly isn't it either. And I'm not saying you have to apologize. But it does seem like maybe you jumped to a conclusion and said something like fucking 3 years later. Potentially made a man look bad to future employers, future publishers. All for something that you perceive to be different from what everybody else did. And again, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that if you perceive that, and it's okay. You should probably say something and call that kind of stuff out. But I also think that you should probably do it then and there at the time, not 3 years later on Twitter. Kind of seems like the wrong time, doesn't it? When a guy's getting ready to release a new book and you feel upset. Odd how those things work. Odd how after probably over a year later, you say, you know what, I want to move on. Maybe I was wrong. Feel bad for Frank though, right? Like, shit, like I made this dude look pretty bad when I may have been wrong. I don't know. Maybe it's just something, like I said, maybe you confront there in the moment instead of trying to do years later with a foggy memory. I'm feeling like, hey, everybody else is, oh, hey, maybe I've got a book to put out while this guy's putting a book out. And maybe I need some extra help getting some attention to it. I don't know. I could be wrong. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you think that she owes him an apology? Do you think she should have to give him one? Not have to. Who's going to make her give him one? But I do think this is one of the things that we see a lot wrong in society these days. In the first place is the fact that you see people out there saying and making, I guess you could say, these tweets and everything about stuff, maybe they have as a fuzzy memory of. Maybe they're not sure of. Maybe it's got really odd timing. I don't know. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Okay. Who's Nemesis? What? How does CGC grade 1 with a 10 with an attached cover? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. CGC in the fire as well. Yeah. Nemesis was a mutant. Okay. Pepperidge Farm remembers. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm back. Means she lied. Yeah. I mean, that's what I take it as. That's what I take. Well, like I said, I mean, maybe she felt that way. Maybe she felt those things. Maybe she felt the guy was out of line. And, like I said, I have no doubt the guy was probably being drunk and belligerent. I have no doubt about that. And I have no doubt about that he may have said some things that seemed inflammatory or seemed derogatory. I have no doubt about that. But until you tell me exactly what he said, I can't deem the guy a racist. Like, I need to, like let's be honest. We've seen time and time again people be accused of stuff, and then you hear what they actually said, and you're like, oh, I think you made that out to be a little bit more than it was. And there's certainly times where we've seen it and it wasn't. There's certainly times where we see that kind of stuff happening and it wasn't more than you thought it was. It was probably exactly what you thought it was. But yeah. Let's see which side characters need solo films. AKA War Machine, Ghost Rider, Reyes, Deathlock, Falcon as Falcon, and the Red Hulk. Yeah, I'm sure there's definitely plenty of them that need solo films. I think John Walker would be worthy of a solo film, especially what I've seen from the TV show. So I've got one more topic I want to get into before we get into David Zaslav and exactly what he's doing over at DC. But let's go ahead and get into this one right here really quick. We got this next one here with writer Tim Sheridan. Now, I can't say I really know Tim Sheridan, what he's wrote or anything like that. But last week he made this tweet. What was this? Oh, this was on 7/27. What was that last week? It may have been. But he says, comics fans. This is what they say, quote, don't add stuff to established characters. Just create new characters. Creator creates new characters. Comic fans, I don't know them. I don't want to. This is trash. Wow. For one, maybe you shouldn't be using quotes there because I think the quotes are probably like maybe if you told me like that you were paraphrasing, you put the little one mark, not the quotes. But it's not don't add stuff to established characters. I think adding stuff to an established character, I think depending on what you add, I'm sure is just fine. It's when you change them. But let's go on. He went on here later to say this is, since some of you are misreading this, he says, since some of you are misreading this to be about new characters, let me clarify. It's about evolving existing characters, especially when they come out of the closet. The point is that many fans who say, don't make him gay, create a new character, don't really want a new gay character. Which, I mean, he's not wrong in that last part. The point is, fans who say don't make him gay, create a new character, don't really want. Yeah, no. The thing is, like, they don't. Like, the thing is, they don't care if you create a new gay character. They don't care if you go create a new gay character. What they care about is that you're changing a long-established character. Somebody they do care about. Somebody that chances are you didn't create. I think what he's got here is the logic that he's using here is wrong. He's basically sitting here saying he's talking about the wrong stuff while making it seem like he's talking about the right stuff. This whole don't add stuff to established characters, just create new characters. That's not what it is. You can add stuff to the characters. You don't have to change them. You don't have to Bobby Drake them. You don't have to make him gay when he's never been gay. And sure, look, and I've talked about this before. You can make the whole people come out later in life, blah 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 argument all you want. All good, all fine and dandy. I get it. Create a new character. Make sure that you have 36 issues of watching and liking this character, getting people into this character, and evolving the character over time to realize that he's gay. Have it a plan. Not just all of a sudden like, hey, you know what? All of a sudden Professor X likes sucking wee-wees. He always has. He was in the closet about it. The create new characters is, if you, the writer, want to change something about the existing character, just create a new character. It's that simple. But you can see what he's making here is that he's making I'm not sure what you would call that, but he's basically taking the argument and making the argument what it isn't to fit the narrative that he wants to push here. Because that's not it at all. I don't think that there's anybody out there, including the people who don't want to see some of these characters change, care if you make a new gay character. It's not that they want him. It's just that they don't care. And I think that's part of the argument here that he's missing. Is it's not that. It's just create the new character. You know, and I know Chillmonger's talked about this several times as well, but it's something I've talked about as well. Create the new character. Don't change the existing character. Create your own new character. But the thing is exactly kind of the argument you're making, is that the new people aren't into the new character, not reading them. That's on you, the writer, to write a good, interesting character that people want to like. And you know what that takes? That takes not beating them over the head with him kissing somebody every issue and making a big deal about his sexuality. Make him the character and the superhero that he needs to be. And he can be gay. Or he can be straight and later realize. But the thing that you have to do as the writer, no matter what, is get people interested in who the character is, what they're doing, why they are the hero, maybe why they're not the best hero, maybe what makes them human about their hero aspect. But it can't focus on that. It can only be added to that. The character can change, but you need to see that change. You need to watch it evolve, not just snap your fingers and all of a sudden this character that's been around for fucking 50 years is gay now. Or 30 years. Or 20 years. Create the new character. You got to get people into the new character and like the new character before you can expect them to care about who he's sticking his dick in. I'll tell you, for me, for one, I don't give a shit who they're fucking. That's not what I'm reading the comic for. But if you want to put that in there, it's fine. Do it with the new character. That's on you, the writer, to make the character interesting to readers, to sell the comic books. But as I said before, as you can even ask, Chillmonger has talked about this as well. You gotta get a good writer on the book. You can't just make it a 5-issue miniseries. You've got to get a good artist on the book. You cannot just put a new writer writing this character, a brand new artist drawing this character and everything going on, and expect it to succeed. You need to put somebody on there who's a well-established writer that has people who will read it just because they're writing it. Certainly not a Jason Aaron. Maybe a Jonathan Hickman. Maybe a James Tynion the fourth. But certainly not just some new and up-and-coming writer and write a 5-issue mini-series and introduce your new gay character and expect it to take off like that. That's simply not how it works. Show me what new character that has worked for. The 5-issue mini-series, not a well-known writer, not a well-known artist. Which one? Which one? You're taking different arguments and mixing them all together, and that's really not the case. It's like you completely misunderstood the arguments, which is no surprise, especially on social media. But I think there's some things that he is kind of right about here, but for the most part, he's wrong. I think he is right on some things, but for the most part, he's very, very wrong. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. We'll get into that. And then we'll get into our last topic, talking about some David Zaslav. What do you guys think about David Zaslav? Zaslav? Zaslav. And what he's doing. Okay. Tell me about Captain America New World Order. What about it? U.S. Agent Project would be awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Sounds like the new characters was not written well. Right. Christopher Barker is in the house. Thank you so much for being here. Of course, his logic is wrong. Right. Well, but he's using the wrong arguments as well. Like those arguments aren't even the arguments. That's not even the arguments. They're not even taken out of context. They're just like, it's just the wrong argument. But yeah, logic. Yeah. Wee-wees. Oh man, teenage Jean Grey turned gay. What? Gay. Mind changed him so he wouldn't flirt with her. Villain move. Oh yeah. Right. Iceman. Yeah. Star Wars MCU-OG says, what you are describing, Trinity, takes talent from the writer, which in many cases is lacking. Hence, the plays on gender and identity politics. It's all because they lack creativity. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, that's it. You know, I mean, it's just like that thing that was coming about like a while back. What was that? Everybody was talking about this old article about Superman. How can they make Superman relevant and relatable to new audiences? You just do what you've done with him forever. Trying to make him relatable and everything to new audiences isn't turning him gay. That's uninteresting. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody really gives a shit. You know? But I mean that is unless we're gonna turn the comic into a gay porno comic. Like if we're gonna see fucking instead of Superman out there you know, taking care of bad guys and doing anything like that, he's gonna be beating cheeks. Like it's gonna turn into a whole fucking like gay love fest. We're gonna see Batman trying to, you know, get it on with the Joker and Batman. They're trying to get into some 3-ways, and maybe occasionally Wonder Woman gets into it because hey, it's not gay if it happens in a 3-way. I mean, yeah, you know what? I might actually buy that. The Superman gay porno comic. Absolutely. Let's do it. Chalk that one up on the calendar. Chalk that one. Put that one. Add that one to the list, David Zaslav. Zaslav coming in to shut that shit down. Unless it's good. Which you probably could do something fun and interesting that way. Okay. His newer writers don't have creativity. Those that did got lazy in 2012 era. Justin Simone says Karma Gaze, Victoria Montesi, 90s gay. America Chavez, 2000s gay. Okay. Okay. I don't know all these characters, but okay. I gotcha. This isn't groundbreaking. Newsflash. Yeah. Yeah, 80%. Yeah, it's not. But they want it to be. They want it to be. Keep Superman as he was created. Go back to 1938 Superman power levels and have him rebuild over 100 issues as Uber levels. And yeah, absolutely. If you're gonna reboot it, at least do it right. But okay, let's get into this. Let's get into this last thing I wanted to talk about. David Zaslav, this new, what is he? CEO, whatever, overseeing Warner Brothers Discovery. Comes in, makes a lot of changes, cancels a lot of shows, does some tax write-offs for Batwoman. Says we're not putting this out. It wasn't well received. And here's the thing: he actually said that it wasn't for the effort that the people, the creators, the actors, and anybody else put in. Not bad at all. But he just didn't feel like that was where they needed to be, where they wanted to be, where they want to go. He wants to try to remake the magic that Kevin Feige did with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And who could blame him? The kind of success Kevin Feige has seen over the past 13, 14 years? Who wouldn't want that level of success? Who wouldn't want to put out a decade's worth of consecutive films that all lead to eventual success and the culmination of that success, and then be able to sustain it even longer? Who wouldn't want to do that? David Zaslav comes out and announces a bunch of changes which don't seem to make sense to some people, which is perfectly fine. You know, I know any place I've been where you get a new store manager or new management comes in, a lot of changes are made. A lot of roles are shifted. Some people end up moving out of your facility or store, and other people come in, people that this person knows they can work with. They bring in their own regime, and that's perfectly fine. Sometimes in places, there does need to be genuine change happening, and I think David Zaslav seems like he wants to make some changes, hopefully for the better. And the changes he wants to make for the better is ultimately for the viewer. And of course that does, you can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs. I'm sure there's plenty of people that are going to lose their jobs, be fired, or maybe have to, rebuild their own equity. And there's nothing wrong with that. In my experiences, I've been there along the way. Climbed my way to, well, maybe not the top, but where I was going to, only to be kicked back down, to have to climb back again, and fight back again, and fight back again, to regain your footing, to prove yourself. David Zaslav comes out and he cancels a bunch of shows, says they have a new vision for what they want to do, says they're going to move forward for things with things that are going to be profitable for the company. They're going to start focusing less on quantity and more on quality. They're not going to be focusing on diversity and inclusion as much as they are the quality of what they are putting out, while not disregarding any kind of diversity or inclusion. Best man for the job, as it should be, as it always should be, as it always should have been. Best man for the job. Now, I know that there's a lot of people out there that hear these things that David Zaslav is saying and think, oh no, here we go. White supremacy is back. All we're going to have is white, 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 white. David Zaslav doesn't support diversity and inclusion. I'm surprised people haven't called him a racist yet. They probably have. Maybe I'm just not paying that close of attention to it. But if you go and look at what he said, the focus isn't on that. The focus is on the quality. That's not to say they're going to disregard any kind of diversity or inclusion. It's not to say you're not going to see any of it. It's not to say that they're not going to gender swap or even race swap some characters. It's just saying that isn't the focus. Which certainly over the years, I wouldn't know because I don't watch a whole lot of the DC stuff, but has been a push that they have been making. And hey, whatever. It's not anything I pay attention to. My hat's not in that ring. But I do see that there's a lot of people upset by what he's saying, thinking that he's going to flush all that down the toilet. It's just going to become a white landscape again over there at Warner Brothers or DC or whatever they're going to call it. But I really don't think it's that. And to anybody that does feel that way, that diverse directors, actors, creators are going to be overlooked in the course of best man for the job, I would say if you feel threatened by that, I would say that you seriously underestimate and seriously undervalue and perhaps don't know the landscape of talented creators out there who are out there directing, writing, acting in movies at the highest level with their white cohorts, with their white co-stars, co-writers, co-directors, conspirators. And if you think there's not, I would say you're not paying attention. You could even go take a look at writer-director Jordan Peele and the success that he's had over his past few films that he's written and directed. To which I would say, I mean, I watched Get Out. I haven't seen Us. I've heard great things about what's the name of this new one that he just did? Nope. I've heard great things about it. I think he's certainly one of these kind of creators that is viable. That would be one of those kind of directors, creators. You could take a look at, I was talking about this earlier, Chloe Zhao, who did The Eternals. I think she's actually really great at a lot of stuff. And what she's doing. I mean, you take a look at that movie. I mean, that like I said, that is one of the first films that came out in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that really feels like a film, not just one of the kind of. And that's why it don't fit the norm of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It really don't fit in with any other films. You could take a look at Shang-Chi, Destin Daniel Cretton, who is being given Kang Dynasty. The Avengers Kang Dynasty, apparently. He's going to be spearheading these instead of the Russos. I think that's a good idea. I watched Shang-Chi. I definitely see a good movie, and I definitely see promise there. You could take a look at Dylan Bilal, who recently had their movie. What was that one? The Batwoman? Canceled? Was it them that did that? Canceled? They did a couple episodes of Ms. Marvel as well as Bad Boys for Life, which I thought was actually a pretty good film. Seemed very much like a 90s throwback kind of action film. You could take a look at any of these great directors, any of these other actors, writers out there who are people of color and diverse. And I will guarantee you 100% that there is no threat to creators like this from somebody like a David Zaslav coming in and wanting to focus on quality, not just diversity and inclusion. If you really truly feel threatened by that, you're just not paying attention to the people there are out there creating some of the things coming out. Because there's a lot of great ones out there. And I don't think there's any, by any means or stretch of the imagination, any kind of a threat from somebody like a David Zaslav in what he's saying here and what he's doing here. I understand a lot of people upset by cancellations. Things being delayed, maybe. Who knows what's going on? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Change is needed. And not even just with their DC films. I think Warner Brothers themselves could probably use somebody new there to help make some good films. I will argue that the amount of good films coming out these days are very, very limited. They're certainly not the big blockbusters that you're going to find at the movie theater. Chances are it's going to be from an indie director, writer, creators, indie studios. They're not going to be films put out by the big guys. A lot of those films here over these, I would say probably the last 3-4 years have just really not been the kind of quality that I'm even used to. And it doesn't have any, and it honestly doesn't really even have a whole lot to do with diversity or inclusion or any of this shit being woke or anything like that. I just see a lot of stuff out there that is very lackluster. It's just not well written, not well directed. And you can't say not well acted. There's plenty of actors out there who are great actors doing some of these things that is just not hitting. That's why when you see something like a Top Gun Maverick come out and everybody's praising it, I will say I like the film. I think it's a great film. Still need to drop my review of the film. But it's a film that definitely is a throwback to the filmmaking of the 80s and especially 90s. There's nothing groundbreaking in this film. It has diversity and inclusion in it as well. But you go and you watch the movie, and while it is a good film, you watch it's like, This film doesn't do anything groundbreaking. Yet it stands head and shoulders above a lot of stuff coming out these days. And it has nothing to do with being not woke or anything like that, or kind of diversity include whatever you want. It has nothing to do with that. Just like a lot of the films that are coming out don't suck just because of that. They're not bad because of that. There's just a lot of things that are coming out that are not entertaining, not well written, not well directed, as they have been in the past. But I don't know. That's just if you ask me. Speaking of which, last talking point here, when it comes to David Zaslav, the Flash film. What's going to go on with the Flash film? Is it canceled? Apparently there's a lot going on. Apparently the film itself has tested quite well with audiences, even considering Ezra Miller. As we all know, Ezra Miller is a nut out on the run from authorities. He's been up to some no good stuff. But apparently what they've done in The Flash has been pretty good. And people would say that this is probably arguably a movie that might be able to salvageable. And who knows how much they're going to salvage out of it. We know the studio is done with Ezra Miller. But I think this is a time. I think this might be a time when David Zaslav needs to put out the call and save the Flash film. David Victor Zaslav, put in the call. The call you know you need to make. Call Tig Notaro and have her come reshoot all of Ezra Miller's scenes as the Flash. She did it once with Army of the Dead. Come back and save us once again, Tig. Make the right call, David Zaslav. Checkmate. I feel like I should be zooming in now. And then we'll cut to this. Okay. Karma the New Mutant? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I got you. Yeah. I figured that's what he was going through when you started getting into that. Yeah. In fact, amount of gay characters in the Marvel Universe was pretty on par with percentage of gay population, which would probably represent them. Yeah. I hear you. I only read New Mutants sporadically. Remember when the Beyonder erased them? Yeah, 90s North Star came out gay after a decade of being straight. Okay. All right. Actually, I'm wrong. Karma was changed in the newer run. I think Victoria Montesi was the first gay character. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Interesting. Interesting. Aries Price says, I just talked with Jay-Z's producer. Just Blaze for the second time in my life. It was just awkward as the first time. What? I think it was alluded to in the original New Mutants, but not made a big spectacle. I have to read the old New Mutants, but if I do, I won't be to confirm that, right? Have enough disposable income back then to buy New Mutants books. They were better. There were better X titles, right? Mirage was straight in the 80s. New Mutants, her return in the 2000s. They started hinting she was gay. Okay. Karma. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm owed lots of loans to allow me to satisfy my Jones for comics. Yeah. StarWarsMCU. Nope. Yeah. Maverick Pilgrim in the building. Guys, make sure you go check out Maverick Pilgrim's channel. Go subscribe. Brian. StarWarsMCU-OG. Justin Simone. I think you guys would like Maverick Pilgrim's content. You should go check it out. There's a link down in the description of this video with all of our Myrtle Maniacs. Yeah. Star Wars MCU-OG says, agree on Top Gun Trinity. Nothing groundbreaking. Just a fun movie. Yeah. And that's what it was. Like, there's nothing groundbreaking. Like, there's nothing groundbreaking about it whatsoever. It was just kind of a fun ride. And that's the thing. Like, you know, because, like I was saying earlier, when it comes to Martin Scorsese and what he was saying about the superhero movies, the Marvel Cinematic Universes, they're thrill rides, you know, and he's not wrong. You get on, you go watch the movie as a thrill ride. You see people, cheering through the highs and the lows. I'd rather you just sat down and shut the fuck up. But you see people sitting there cheering all this up. It's a thrill ride. Because as soon as you get off the ride, as soon as you leave that theater, the ride is over. A lot of these films lately have been forgettable. A lot of people not talking about them. It's just on to the next thing. But I will say the thing, when it comes to the Top Gun Maverick, is that it's thrilling. It's not a thrill ride. It's just thrilling. And believe me, there's a difference. The thrill ride is fun while you're on the ride and you get off and that's about it. Maybe you get on and go again. But the thrilling is when you're sitting there watching the movie, watching something very basic happening, and you're consumed and you're enamored in it because it's actually just good and it's got you on the edge of your seat, even though you know what's gonna happen. You know, at the end of the film, you know Top Gun and Maverick are gonna pull off their mission and be successful. You know this, but you're there along for that thrilling ride the whole time. You're interested in it. Everything in this movie was predictable as hell. Them winning, Maverick getting lost and almost dying, Goose's son going back, spoilers, Goose's son going back and saving him. And then, on their way back, after fighting their way back, the asshole pilot guy flying in to save the day. Of course! I called that shit before it even happened. When they were there getting ready to get their asses handed to them, like, oh, here's where so-and-so is going to fly in and save the fucking day. And sure enough, what'd he do? He flew in and he saved the day. Very, very predictable. But it was just good and entertaining, thrilling. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. But anyway, guys, how long have we been going here? We've been going almost 2 hours. Not too bad. Not too bad. But, you know, recently I picked up this book right here. In case you guys didn't know, I picked up this hardcover of this book the other day at Earth 2 Comics down in not Northridge, but they used to have one in Northridge, but it closed. In Sherman Oaks, Earth 2 Comics in Sherman Oaks. I actually picked up a hardcover of Avengers Forever, but I picked this one up at Collector's Paradise, their Winnetka store. This Avengers Forever book right here by Kurt Busiek and Roger Stern. It's collecting Avengers 1 through 12, and I was thinking about probably getting rid of this to one of our channel members or something like that as well. But when I picked it up, originally my copy, the hardcover copy, I read the description of it. And I'm like, man, if this don't sound like something you're probably going to see a mishmash of in Avengers Kang Dynasty, I don't know what is. And I've even heard Josh over at the Den of Nerds talking about this in a couple of his recent videos as well, about this particular storyline and how it sounds like exactly what's getting ready to come in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And you can see just even here on the back cover. I'm looking at the characters that you have here. Very interesting mix of characters here. But it says right here, through the years, the Avengers have always found a way to reach victory, no matter the odds, no matter the sacrifice. But now, Earth's mightiest heroes face a different kind of menace. A menace so great it has made allies out of sworn enemies. This seemingly unconquerable enemy is the future. 7 time-lost Avengers plucked from the past, present, and future must protect their longtime ally Rick Jones from death at the hands of Immortus, the Master of Time. To find out why Rick has been targeted for elimination, the Avengers must join forces with Kang the Conqueror, one of the team's deadliest, most implacable foes, in a cosmic battle that stretches from the Old West to the end of time. And as they do so, they discover they're fighting not just for one life, but for the very destiny of mankind, against a greater foe than they could possibly imagine. Very interesting though, right? Because you got him teaming up with Kang the Conqueror against Immortus. Now, I'm not sure if you know this or not, but Immortus is Kang. Or Kang is Immortus. And here you've got a team of Avengers picked out of different timelines to go and help and fight and protect Rick Jones. And if that don't sound like something that we would get out of Kang Dynasty, hell, I don't know. I honestly don't know what is. Honestly, don't know what it is. Plot was by Kurt Busiek and Roger Stern. Script by Kurt Busiek. Pencilers Carlos Pacheco. Inker is Jesus Marino. Colorists are Steve Olive with Oli Optics. Color separations, Graphic Color Works, letterers, Richard Starkings, and Comic Crafts Albert Deschney. Cover artist Carlos Pacheco, Jesus Marino, Steve Olive, and Tony Kelly. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. But it sounds very much like something that you would kind of expect out of Kang Dynasty. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But anyway, guys, like I said, I think that's about all I've got for this stream. Let's go ahead and get into the last of these chats here, and then we will call it a day. I'm back with my chill yummy. What? Kang and Immortus is the same person. Right. Kang, Immortus, Ramatet, all the same guy. At least it was when I read the comics. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I think that's what's the interesting thing about Avengers Forever is that they're basically all working together. And this is from writer Kurt Busiek too, man. Because he's the one who did that OG Thunderbolts run, man. Fucking great stuff. So I want to read this. I haven't got a chance to read it yet. But it definitely sounds interesting. It sounds exactly like what we've got coming in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as far as these different versions of Kang, Immortus, things like that. Very interesting to see what they're going to do here with this series. Or with this movie. And what's going on in the series. Because I haven't read this series. But yeah, they're the same guy. Yeah, they're the same guy. Ages Ramatet 20 to 30 Immortus, 30 to 50 Kang is the 50 plus version. Okay, yeah, all right, yeah. I was gonna say Immortus. Immortus always looks like an old kind of wizard, kind of looking like he looks almost like similar to what you would think of like the ancient one. You know, like he's got his little Fu Manchu and all that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, and it's hard to say with Kang. I don't know because like Kang has his little suit and all that shit. So, yeah, and Rama-Tut, yeah, and the Rama-Tut thing that like that's obviously got to tie in with some of the stuff that's going on with the Eternals, Moon Knight. I would say argue Ms. Marvel definitely. What we're gonna have with Namor, Black Panther. As far as that stuff, yeah, Iron Lad, yeah, teenage version, yeah. So many retcons since I read. Still hard to see Wolverine as an Avenger to me. Right. Yeah. Absolutely. But anyway, guys, that's all I've got for today's stream. Thank you all so much for being here today to watch this live stream and interact here in the chats with me today. But thank you all so much for being here. If you're not already, please make sure you subscribe. Click the little bell and all that good stuff. Give the video a thumbs up if you like it. Give it a thumbs down if you don't. It's okay. You're not going to hurt my feelings. But while you're at it, make sure that you share it out with a friend and invite them to come hang out with us here on the 2nd Street Marvel. You all have a very good day. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you in the next video or live stream. Later.